We're building the Airstream of the future, and it's from 1971. Okay, let me explain. The Airstream has been around for over 90 years, but does its longevity make it worth what it's going for today? Sometimes selling for over $200,000. I really don't think so, but I wanted to find out. So, my husband and I bought a 1971 Airstream, and we're going to try to build it for much cheaper with better technology and higher quality products. You're probably wondering, what makes you think you can build out an Airstream better when you don't even know how to put lug nuts on the right way? And you're probably right. Maybe we're in a little over our heads. Ow. This is a problem. But we have confidence we'll be able to do this. Maybe a little too much confidence.
You okay, Jay?
No. The Airstream has survived the Great Depression. It survived World War II. But will it survive us? There's only one way to find out. In order to build the Airstream of the future, there were a few things for us to consider. First, we needed to cut down on cost as much as possible because, let's face it, our generation doesn't know how to save our money and won't be able to afford those astronomical prices that the new ones cost.
So pretty.
We set a budget of $35,000 to complete this build. So far, we've already spent $9,500 on the old aluminum Airstream, $1,685 on new tools, $200 on repairing the frame, $700 on new fresh and gray water tanks, $300 on insulating the floor, $1,100 on aluminum to reskin the underside, $250 on the new subfloor, $300 on new lights, $100 on a lift kit, $1,500 on a new axle, and $180 on the max air fan. Now it's time to look at current Airstreams and see how we can improve them. Apparently, since 1999, Airstream has been using a clear coat that's so strong, there's currently no chemical method on the market strong enough to remove it, making Airstreams from 1999 and onward nearly impossible to polish to a mirror finish. With that in mind, it was time to get to work. We used citrus strip to take the plastic layer off, and then came the real fun part. We decided to use a Miller Garage custom polishing kit, which has 3 stages of polishing. This all sounded awesome to me in theory, but I quickly learned what a horrific process this truly was. It's gonna take a while. There's absolutely no shortcuts for this process, and after like an hour, I couldn't really feel my hands. It felt like I spent more time trying to figure out the best protection to wear to stay somewhat clean than actually polishing the Airstream. But no matter how hard I tried, I always seemed to end up looking like a chimney sweeper. This is a problem. I can't get this crap off of me. Airstream 1. Kels 0. Back for battle. And this time I've come prepared.
Phobia to the mat.
Ow! I do not like that. I feel like I'm suffocating. You can kind of see here, this is 2 polishes, and then up here is, I think, just 1 polish. Just a lot of messing up and just redoing over your mistakes until you get the right motion.
That's life, though.
And that's building an Airstream.
Check out our new toy.
We also had to buy a scaffold because knowing me, I'd probably fall off a ladder trying to polish the top of the Airstream. I'd say it was definitely an investment well worth making. Except for the times Jay tried going on it with me. Then it became scary.
Ah! Jay!
You take £900. You trying to say I weigh £600?
What? You just said I weigh 300.
What?
Alright, that's enough polishing for now. Let's see what other upgrades we can make. We decided to go with a layout we've never seen before in an Airstream, but having a complicated layout could come back to hurt us later on, as it only makes the build more challenging for us. We're hoping in the end, all our risks will be worth it. Spent the last 3 hours designing the layout. This isn't our first time doing it either, but I think we finally got it down, and when we finished, Jay goes, oh, it's pretty simple actually. It's gonna be different. And we made a last minute change, which I don't know how I feel about yet. No fixed bathroom. After running some wires and prepping the Airstream, it was time to insulate. Airstream uses EcoBat insulation, but we decided to go with closed cell spray foam. Not only does it offer a higher R value, but it also adds more structure to the aluminum shell. It cost $900 to put 2 layers of spray foam on, and we still had some left over in the end. While it was important for us to upgrade the Airstream where we could, it was also important for us to make the most of our resources so we could cut down on our budget. We decided to reuse the original panels from the Airstream. Jay gave them a quick power wash before starting the long, tedious process of reinstalling them.
Jesus Christ.
This ended up saving us about $600 in metal. But it also drove Jay insane. It has saved Jay a ton of time going back in and putting these wall panels up. Now he's just very meticulously going through and riveting everything.
Yeah, it's hell. Honestly, it's so boring.
You doing well, baby?
Jamie likes working with wood. We're almost there, baby. We're almost working with wood.
Sucks.
We also saved money by reusing the original end cap. That was also the place we found the dead bird. Reusing parts of the Airstream was about more than just saving money to us though. When we first got this Airstream, it was completely gutted, but that piece was in there and then like some old cabinets were in there. So we want to pay tribute, I guess, to the Airstream and keep some things the same. Unfortunately for Jay, a design choice we made meant he wasn't done with the metal just yet. We decided to go for a segmented end cap. Some of the upgrades we made were related to the design, and they might be considered more of a personal preference, but I'm still going to count it. I think the metal must have known Jay didn't like working with it though, because it basically attacked him.
You okay?
Not much really phases Jay at this point though. Honestly, creating the end cap is kind of a messed up process because after clecoing the pieces in, you basically have to undo your work and rivet them in. It's all part of the fun though, right? So the new Airstreams don't have this feature.
Honestly, the hardest part of all this was peeling the plastic off. It just...
Jamie really hates tedious things like that, so I've learned to love them. And of course we had to be super conceited and take the design to the next level by adding a K and J. I think it's pretty cute though. The Airstream of the future also can't take long to build. No one has the patience for that. On average, Airstream takes 350 hours to build each trailer. We're already coming in at nearly 200 hours, so it was time to kick it into high gear. As we sped on, we kept in mind reusing everything we could. Reusing these tracks. These were in the original Airstream, and we're gonna put the walls in these little slots. The tracks were ready for their first wall, but first it was time to put in the floor. As we continued with this build, it honestly became difficult to find upgrades in some areas of it because quite frankly, Airstream does choose the highest quality products most of the time. So when it came to the floor, we matched current Airstreams by installing the same brand of eco-friendly lawn seal flooring, but by choosing a slightly more modern style in our opinion anyways. We also matched current Airstreams by having marine grade surround sound speakers. We're getting super bougie with this Airstream. Like, this is just ridiculous. This thing's gonna be bumping. Airstream again offers one of the best air conditioners on the market for RVs. So we matched it by getting a 12-volt Dometic Cooler RTX 2000. We realized a way to make ours a little better than what Airstream offers was ensuring it'd be able to run off-grid. Jay, guess how many watts new Airstreams have?
100.
How'd you know that?
Is it really?
Yeah.
100, that's it?
100 watts of solar on the roof.
And they have AGM batteries.
And we are gonna have 400 minimum.
So we're 4 timesing the amount of power that you'll find in a new Airstream or the one that we're comparing it to. And we have super lightweight, like we're using flexible panels that are just can literally hold them with my pinky. The build was getting uncomfortably closer and closer to our budget, but luckily we were also easily able to cut down on costs on things like buying an oven from eBay that had a little ding on it. It's gonna get dinged up anyways, it's in an RV and we always like scratch these ovens up, so we just figured, you know what, we'll just get it already scratched so we don't feel bad when we get the first scratch on it. And by using leftover wood we had from client build. Are you happy to be working with wood?
Yeah, feels good. Back to sniffing sawdust.
I know some people might call this cheating. I'm just gonna call it making the most of our resources. Jay was finally in his happy place, building with wood, and that's when the speed always picks up for our builds. This wood must have had a conversation with the aluminum though, because it also wasn't too happy with Jay. Jay was still happy though, and that's all that matters. Jay used leftover wood to build the biggest drawer Airstream has ever seen.
That'll be good, baby.
You've never seen an Airstream with a drawer like this before. Honey. With every good thing that happens in this build, there's probably 5 challenges we face. Remember that unique layout we came up with? It was coming back to bite us in the butt sooner than we had thought. Literally. It's like 9:30.
It's 10.
Oh, sugar. It's 10 p.m. and we're trying to figure out something very, very important. Some would say the most important thing in the build.
I'm trying to figure out where the toilet goes.
If some of you guys remember, Jamie could not fit in our bathroom in the van. It's not an easy task in such a small space, but we're gonna find a way to make it work. We can't make the bed higher, so it's not gonna work. We want to leave the Airstream feeling open, but still have the ability to close off the bathroom when needed. Because even though we've been married for 4 years now, we still want to leave some things to the imagination. For now, we just have to leave it and focus on some things we could control. Like the fact that I can fit into my husband's pants. I have an announcement to make.
Yeah?
I'm wearing Jamie's pants. That's where I'm at in life right now. Just call me Jamie. Oh yeah. Also things like saving money by reusing the old windows. These were in pretty rough shape, but still salvageable with a little cleaning, sanding, spray paint, time, and love. Just got to the end of doing my window screen, and then I found there's a little rip in there. Right there. It's like when you put a pair of tights on and then you rip them. Before putting the windows back in, it was time to clean up the disgusting window frames. This was a long and actually painful process. Rest in peace to the bees that used to live here. There were definitely times where it almost broke me. So, you know how Jay hates working with metal? I hate finishing with metal. It's dirty. It's so hard to make it look good. It's dirty. This already looks a lot better than it did. You guys probably can't take me seriously right now. It was tough on my body just like the polishing was. But luckily, a little awkward dancing helped power me through it. And after a few days, the windows were looking great. Not perfect, but much better than before. It's almost over. One more window left. What are you doing, Jay? He's just in the zone.
I'm being Donald Trump and building a wall.
Alright, it was time to make some real progress and finally put up the first wall. Nice. As we continued this rocky journey of high highs and low lows, it became more and more clear to us why Airstream has been around for as long as it has been. It can be easy to look at a high price tag and think they're trying to lure you in like a fish with their shiny exterior. But the truth is, there are a lot of things we couldn't find ways to improve on. Are they overpriced? Maybe. But when you compare their average lifespan of 40 years to most other trailers who have an average lifespan of 15 years, I honestly don't think they're overpriced by much. In other news, we do have our first and only wall up.
What do you think? Never have too many clamps.
We have a lot of fun designs planned ahead for this build.
So cool!
But are we making the most epic Airstream for the future? I'm not sure. Because truth is, they're already pretty freaking epic.
How tall does it go?
And I think it's safe to say that all Airstreams will continue to be around for a while. Because there's nothing else out there that can really compete with it at that price point. And if you're like us and still can't afford a new one, you'll just have to put in the work to try to rebuild an old one.
Are you serious?
Or you can buy one of those RVs that'll last you 15 years. Really, it's whatever choice that makes you happy. We've made our decision, and while it's been a struggle at times, we don't regret a second of it. We can't wait to show you more of what's to come.
Bye.